Whales have long held the title for being the largest species of animal on Earth, weighing up to 400,000 pounds and reaching up to 98 feet in length. This behemoth mammal, though physically staggering, comes in various temperaments and has found a special place in popular culture and in our hearts. If you aren't already a fan of these oceanic giants, today you will be after we explore 10 different types of whales which you won't believe actually exist. Before we get started, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe and click the notification bell for more such amazing content. Here we go. Number 10. KEIKO, the orca. KEIKO was captured near Iceland in 1979 and eventually became a famous movie star. What an interesting turn of events for a sea mammal. His rise to fame began in 1982 when KEIKO was sold to Marineland in Niagara Falls, Canada. At this facility, the whale first started performing for the public and then moved again to an amusement park in Mexico City in 1985. It was there where he was found by film scouts and eventually became the star of the movie Free Willy in 1993, which tells a story of a boy who befriends and eventually releases the captive orca. Although the film was a box office hit, it received a lot of backlash from people around the world. The film's success started an international letter-writing campaign which sought to release KEIKO back into the wild. Yielding to this pressure, KEIKO's owner transferred him to Iceland and in the summer of 2000 was trained to follow a boat into open waters where wild orcas usually feed. Reintegration with wild orcas was problematic and KEIKO was seen swimming along with them only once in 2002. He did manage to migrate to Norway for most of the summer, arriving apparently in good health. However, his film star status and his love of humans eventually killed him as he was unable to truly relearn how to be free and wild. The poor guy. Number 9. The loneliest whale in the world. For 24 years, researchers have been tracking the migration of a whale which has a unique sound signature, so unique that it appears to have never found a mate. The 52 Hz whale is a unique whale that calls at a characteristic frequency of 52 Hz, a much higher frequency of the vocalization of most whales. It appears to be the only individual with this call, and because of this, it's been described as the world's loneliest whale. No one knows for sure whether the whale is male or female, what species it is, or even if it's still alive. The last in the original series of recordings was made in 2004, but experts think that we may have been thinking about it in the wrong way. It's been suggested that its unique song didn't isolate it after all. Instead, the lonely whale sang this song to ensure that it could be better heard by its companions or to impress members of the opposite sex. It was the mainstream media which perpetuated the story of the sad, lonely animal. In 2013, The Express, a British tabloid newspaper, claimed that the whale's unusual call had stopped him from finding love, but we'd like to think that he or she has found its soulmate. Number 8. TILIKUM. In 1983, TILIKUM was captured from his mother and family pod off Iceland as a 2-year-old calf and sold into the thriving global orca entertainment business. At his first marine park, Sealand of the Pacific in Victoria, British Columbia in 1991, he and 2 other killer whales drowned assistant trainer Kelty Byrne after she slipped and fell partway into their pool. Kelty's death led to the closure of Sealand, yet TILIKUM was purchased and shipped to SeaWorld's Orlando Park to become SeaWorld's prolific breeding male, siring 14 calves, 10 of whom are still alive, including grandchildren. 13 of SeaWorld's current 29 killer whales have TILIKUM's DNA. In 1999, TILIKUM killed again, drowning Daniel Dukes, who somehow managed to get into the pool after hours. Finally, in February of 2010, TILIKUM drowned animal trainer Dawn Brancheau. Her death brought in national scrutiny and forced SeaWorld to put an end to trainers performing in the water with killer whales. The new protocols limited close contact with TILIKUM, further isolating him. He returned to show duties in 2011 using his massive 12,000-pound body to deliver the signature splash at the end of performances until his death in 2017. SeaWorld announced that it'll stop captive breeding and that the 28 killer whales at its parks will be the last generation of killer whales at SeaWorld. TILIKUM certainly lived up to his name of being a killer whale. Number 7. Real-life Moby Dick. Most of us are familiar with the novel about Captain Ahab's journey to kill a great white whale, but did you know that it was based on true events? In 1839, author Herman Melville read a story in a magazine about an albino sperm whale famed for its deadly attacks on whaling ships trying to hunt it down. This whale killed off the coast of Chile near Mocha Island and was called Mocha Dick, named after this island where he was first spotted. The original Moby Dick was one of the largest and the strongest sperm whales of the 19th century. He reportedly destroyed more than 20 whaling ships and escaped another 80 before he was at last killed by whalers. But the most famous source of inspiration for Moby Dick was the story of the whale ship Essex, which in 1820 was attacked and sunk by an 18-ton sperm whale some 2,000 miles off the coast of South America. 20 crew members escaped the whaler in the 3 open boats, but only 5 would survive to be rescued in the coastal waters 89 days later. These events inspired the creation of the famed Moby Dick novel, which went on to become one of America's literary classics. Number 6. Beluga-Narwhal hybrid. In the 1980s, a whale hunter caught 3 unusual-looking whales in Greenland's Disco Bay. They had flippers shaped like that of the belugas, but narwhal-like tails. Their tooth was strange, protruding horizontally from the whales' mouths. The hunter kept the skull of one of the creatures and hung it from the roof of his tool shed, and later allowed researchers to take it and display it at the Natural History Museum of Denmark. A team of experts from Denmark and Canada have used DNA analysis to confirm a long-standing theory about the skull. The theory suggested that the skull belonged to a beluga-narwhal hybrid. To arrive at this conclusion, the team extracted a DNA sample taken from the animal's odd teeth and compared with tissue samples from 8 belugas and 8 narwhals. Using advanced technology, the researchers were able to determine that the animal was male and that around 54% of its DNA was beluga and the remaining 46% was narwhal. This means that the animal was a first-generation hybrid by analysing the specimen's mitochondrial DNA, which is inherited from the mother. Team also determined that its mother was a narwhal, and by extension, the whale got its beluga genes from its dad. What an interesting animal. Number 5. MIGALOO, the incredible whale. MIGALOO was first spotted in 1991 near Australia and considered to be one of the most famous whales in the world. Thought to be the only pure white humpback in nature, according to the Pacific Whale Foundation, the first photograph of MIGALOO was taken from a telescope over 3 miles away. After the discovery, there were calls from the public to name the whale. It was subsequently decided that the whale should be named by the elders of the local Aboriginal collective in Hervey Bay. They named the whale MIGALOO, which means white fella in several Aboriginal languages. Each year between April and November, thousands of humpback whales in Australia migrate to Antarctica to feed and breed, including MIGALOO. The exact timing of the migration period can vary from year to year depending on water temperature, sea ice, predation risk, prey abundance and the location of their feeding ground. In 2015, scientists explained that it's likely that we'll see less and lesser MIGALOO as he matures and swims further offshore. We wish him a long and happy life ahead. Number 4. Beluga spy whale. In an odd encounter, marine experts in Norway believe that they've stumbled across a beluga whale which was trained by the Russian Navy. Fishermen in the waters near the small island of Ingoya reported that a white beluga whale wearing a strange harness had begun to harass their fishing boats. The tame white beluga quickly became a celebrity, and locals christened him Havaldemir, a portmanteau of the Norwegian word for whale and the popular Russian name Vladimir. A regular in the sea by the harbour city of Hammerfest, he even retrieved a woman's iPhone after she dropped it in the water. What a good Samaritan of the sea! The harness that he was wearing when he was found had a buckle saying Equipment St. Petersburg, fueling speculations that he escaped a military training program in Russia's north. In the 1980s, the Soviet-Russian program saw dolphins recruited for military training but closed in the 1990s. However, a 2017 TV report by the Defense Ministry revealed that the Russian Navy had again been training beluga whales, seals and bottlenose dolphins for military purposes. Number 3. North Atlantic right whale. They are one of the world's most endangered large whale species, with only about 400 whales remaining. It's easily identified by its white calluses on its head, which are very noticeable against the whale's dark grey body. It has a broad back with outer dorsal fin and a large arching mouth that begins above the eye. It feeds by swimming through a swarm of plankton with its mouth open, with its head slightly above the surface. Right whales are found more often in coastal waters, especially during the breeding season. They can average up to 43 to 52 feet in length and weigh approximately 44 to 77 tons, since up to 45% of their body weight is blubber. This high percentage causes their body to float after death due to the low density of blubber. There's little data about their lifespan, but it's believed to be around 70 years old. However, individuals in species closely related to them have been found to live for more than 100 years. The age of a right whale can be determined by examining the earwax in post-mortem. In spring, summer and autumn, the western North Atlantic population feeds in a range stretching from Massachusetts to Newfoundland. Particularly popular feeding areas are the Bay of Fundy, the Gulf of Maine and the Cape Cod Bay. In winters they head south to Georgia and Florida to give birth. Number 2. Grey whales. The grey whales come with a distinctive hump and a ridge of sharp bumps along their backs. They're a type of baleen whale and they filter food from the water through the bristly structures in their mouths. Grey whales are only found in the Pacific Ocean with a population of approximately 26,000. They stay around the continental shelf and are truly a coastal species by staying close to the shore and feeding in shallow water. They have one of the longest migrations of any mammal. During the summer they live in the Arctic and areas rich in their food, but as fall approaches there's less sunlight, less food and the water turns cold. This is when the whales travel to sunny Baja California and Mexico, where they enter the lagoons to give birth and mate. They can be seen passing by in California and Mexico during December and January during their southern migration, and then again in March, April and May on their northern journey. Their well-known migrations take them between feeding and breeding areas, swimming as much as 12,000 miles round trip. Since grey whales migrate relative to shore, grey whale watching is very popular around these areas. What a fascinating species! Number 1. OMURA'S whale. OMURA'S whale is one of the recently identified whale species. They were first recognized from dead specimens in 2003 and first recorded alive in the wild in 2015. They've previously been mistaken for Bride's whale, since both species look alike and live in tropical seas, but we now know that the OMURA'S whale is not related to the Bride's whale at all. It was referred to as a pygmy or dwarf version of the Bride's whale by various sources. They've been seen feeding, defecating and beaching into both Komodo National Park in Indonesia and northwestern Madagascar. What's more, they can sing too. They produce amplitude-modulated songs with a peak frequency of 36.1 Hz and an average duration of 9.2 seconds. This is sometimes followed by a tonal call of 17 Hz in 4 seconds in duration. These songs are repeated every 2 to 3 minutes and sometimes for as long as 13 hours. Songs are being recorded off northwest Madagascar year-round, with peak activity from late October to late January and again from late May to late June. Overlapping choruses of several singing individuals have been recorded throughout the year as well. They are quite the musically inclined bunch of mammals. There you have it. 10 whales you won't believe actually exist. Were you familiar with all these species, or were there some which you haven't heard of before? Let us know in the comments. For more such informative content, be sure to hit the like button, share and subscribe. See ya!